I'm going to talk about vaccines, okay?
Oh, yeah, vaccine.
Here's
Let's
the thing.
do it.
Here's the thing. I realized, like, the other day we haven't talked about vaccines on here at all, and it's a very, very hot topic.
That's because it's political.
I have but
Shouldn't be.
it's for some it is. It shouldn't be. But here's what I want to say about it. I'm not even here to say whether you should or shouldn't get the vaccine. That's not the point of this subpoint. Here's what I want to say. Okay, we've talked about towards the beginning of the pandemic, like not getting your eschatology all mixed up into all of this COVID stuff and, trying to make these correlations and ties that just aren't there.
The vaccine's the mark of the beast.
Right. People said the vaccine's the mark of the beast, and then a lot of people have backpedaled, and someone's preparing us for the mark of the beast. Like, I see this stuff on Facebook all the time. And Facebook seems to be the main social media platform for vaccine conspiracy. It's a little less common on Twitter and Instagram. If I had to rank them, it would be Facebook, Instagram, and then Twitter at the bottom. So, all this stuff is spreading. I had an interesting conversation with some ministry leaders the other day about parents trying to get religious waivers for their students not to get vaccinated, and you have to have a clergy sign a religious waiver, right? So there's some youth pastors, some ministry leaders in the area who have had parents bringing vaccine waivers to them saying, can you sign this because, for religious reasons, I don't want my kid to get vaccinated. And here's all I'm going to say, okay? There are some cases where medically speaking, you shouldn't get vaccinated. All right, very few, right?
But there
are. But those exist.
Yeah.
All right, and even for those who probably should, who can, like health-wise, I understand that there are certain medical concerns or even just questions that would make you vaccine hesitant. Okay, I want to acknowledge and recognize all of those things. But one of the interesting things we had to talk about when it comes to this forum is, like, your youth pastor, this is brought to you. We were talking about how all of us were kind of in agreement that none of us in good conscience could sign that form because there is no religious reason for a Christian not to get a vaccine. Okay? So if you have political, medical, whatever reasons you have for not getting the vaccine, whatever, that's your decision. And I'm not here to speak to that right now. I do want to say there is no religious reason for a Christian not to get a vaccine. You can't back that up with any doctrine, with any scripture. So stop trying to. That's all I wanted to say.
My first question, if a parent brought me one of those forms, would be like, which religion is preventing you from getting the vaccine?
Is the vaccine not kosher or something?
Yeah, I was
Right,
say,
I
are
mean,
you Jewish?
No, there are other religions, though, that, like, there's certain medical treatments that
maybe
they
there's an ingredient in there, or,
There are certain medical treatments that they do forbid. And one thing that people would mention is stem cells and kind of the use of this aborted fetal tissue that was but that was only used in one of the vaccines. I think it's the Johnson & Johnson. Right. So I say as a pro-life person, I don't feel comfortable using this vaccine. But don't use the Johnson & Johnson anyway. That's been the only one that's caused anybody problems. So, and again, when we have 3 vaccines available and only one of them was made using maybe things that you don't ethically agree with, just use one of the other ones, right? It's fairly simple. So I wanted to also acknowledge, because a lot of times people will say, well, I'm pro-life, so I can't because of this. Okay, that's maybe the only thing you could say as a Christian that, is a reason for you not to. But, again, there's others available. So I just kind of wanted to get that out there, right? Again, if you have other reasons, I'm not here to speak to that. I'm just saying don't use your faith or your religion as a Christian as an excuse or as a reason, because it doesn't work.
Yeah, because there's just not a theological framework for that.
Right.
Yeah.